So I wanted to share with you guys some things tonight. My partner and I decided we've been cooped up in this house for quite a while and wanted to have a date night. So we're gonna cook together tonight. And I'm gonna make something that is really, again, a dish that I've had all my life. As I've said, I'm Italian from the South, but grew up really with a lot of Italian influences. And we used to make this dish called chicken cacciatore. I guess in Italian, it's called Pollo, allo, Cacciatore, and it means chicken hunter style. So it's basically chicken with any vegetables that, back in the day they would find in the refrigerator. So what I found, we went to the farmer's market today, and we got some fresh mushrooms, which are usually a staple in chicken cacciatore. And then I had potatoes, I had some garlic, I had onions, and I had bell peppers. So that's all gonna go into this today. But I'm excited to show you guys how this all comes together and to kind of bring you guys into our home for our date night a la quarantine.
What are you doing there?
All right, so we're gonna saute the mushrooms first, individually, and we're gonna set those aside because then those are gonna go back into the chicken cacciatore at the end. And then that way the mushrooms don't wilt and turn into something that we don't want it to turn into. All right, so the next step is we're gonna take our chicken thighs, and typically you would use all different parts of the chicken. You can use wings, thighs, breasts, but I decided to just use thighs tonight. So we're gonna take that and we're going to dump that into our flour. So it's just plain white all-purpose flour. And we're gonna shake it so that it coats each piece just a little bit, because then we're gonna fry that in a pan, and that gives it its kind of golden crust that we want for this dish. Okay guys, so next we're gonna fry the chicken, but we're gonna add garlic. We're gonna add a clove of garlic. If you're using, I'm only doing this for 2 people, but if you're doing it for 4, then you're gonna use 2 cloves of garlic. So we'll put it in, and then we're actually going to put each of the chicken pieces, and they're going to get stirred with the garlic. We're really just gonna sear these because they are gonna cook in the broth and the wine, but you want them to have a nice sear on the outside. Turn it up a little bit. We'll let that sit. I'm gonna actually salt and pepper it a little bit, but I had not done before. We're making the best of date night indoors. So day, what is it? 5, 6 indoors now.
I think we're a little north of that one.
Okay. And I've had a lot of time to revisit recipes that I haven't made in a while. So this is one that I made growing up a lot, and my parents and my grandparents taught me, but it's a staple Italian dish, chicken cacciatore, which means the hunter's chicken or the hunter's meal. So they really pretty much took whatever meat that they had in their refrigerator and whatever vegetables, and they kind of threw it into a pot and cooked it into a stew and served it over polenta or pasta. So I'm excited to kind of show you guys how this is gonna turn out. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit more olive oil now that we've taken the chicken out, and we're gonna saute our onions. So I used 1 small, medium yellow onion, and that's gonna go in. And I also, like I said, this is kind of just whatever is in your refrigerator. So I had bell peppers, so I'm gonna put those in. And we're gonna saute both of those. And then I had some potatoes, I'll put those in as well. And I have mushrooms, which is usually a staple in chicken cacciatore, but I sauteed those earlier, so remember those are on the side, and those will go in kind of the last 15-20 minutes of this dish, just so that they can kind of marinate with the rest of the ingredients. So we're gonna saute these until they're soft, and then we will put the chicken back in, and then we're gonna put the, we're gonna really take the rest of this pan and deglaze it with the white dry wine that we have. And I chose an Italian wine. I'm actually drinking it as well. You always want to cook with wine that you would drink. I mean, it's actually really good. I have cooked with wine that was not good, and you could taste it in your meal. So definitely one that you would like to drink. So we're going to deglaze the pan with that. We'll be back in a little bit. The next step is to take the chicken that we just seared, and we're going to put it back into the pan. And you just kind of layer it on top of the vegetables. And then we actually are going to deglaze it, like I said, with this wine. So I'm just going to take probably about a cup, but I'll give it specifics in the recipe. And we're just going to let that kind of take all the crusty stuff off the bottom. That's the best part. All those flavors that have cooked into the pot. This is one of my favorite pots. I love this Dutch oven. I use this for a lot of things. Sauces and soups and casserole. So we're going to deglaze that, and then we're going to let that cook down about halfway, and then I'm going to actually put the crushed tomatoes in here. And then we're gonna cover it and let it cook for about 35 to 45 minutes until the chicken becomes tender, and it's just gonna marinate with all of these vegetables and flavors. Before that, I am gonna actually put some spices in. I chose to do this. It doesn't always call for this, but you can do what you want. A bay leaf, I'm gonna put a little thyme, a little more salt and pepper, and other than that, we're good. So stick around to see how it turns out. All right, we're back. So now the chicken and the vegetables have cooked down a little bit with the wine. I actually added a little bit of chicken broth, so about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup, depending on how much chicken you have in there, and added that. So now the sauce is thickened up a little bit, and we want to add in the crushed tomatoes. So I'm going to take these crushed tomatoes. You can actually get whole tomatoes as well. And if you just want to crush them with your hands, but you really want these Italian style, they're the best. I use them for sauces all the time. So we're going to put in about a cup. We're going to start with that, and you're going to just pour that in to the sauce. We're going to mix it in with chicken and the vegetables. And while you were away, I actually put salt and pepper, and like I said, I put a bay leaf, one bay leaf, and I put some thyme. So like a half a teaspoon of thyme. You don't want it to be too overpowering. So now all we're gonna do is cover this, like I said, and we're gonna sit around and maybe drink a few more glasses of wine, and we'll come back to it and add in the mushrooms at the end, and then we'll be ready to serve. All right, guys, so I'm back. We have about 15 minutes left of this cooking. This is hot. I'm gonna put this out. And we're gonna actually put in the mushrooms, which we sauteed earlier, because like I said, we want them to still give some flavor with the mushroomy flavor, but we didn't want them to wilt and get gross. And then last minute, I decided to put in some frozen green peas. This is an homage to my father, because when they were young, they used to put peas in theirs. Like I said, it could be whatever you have in your refrigerator, but they would do that. I doubt they had organic frozen green peas back in Italy when they did this, but we're gonna improvise, so here you go. We're gonna throw that in, and then we're gonna cook this. We're gonna put the top back on. We're gonna cook this for another 15-20 minutes, and then we are gonna be ready to serve it over the polenta that I'm about to make. So. Okay, here we go. All right, I have a little chicken, some mushroom, bell pepper, and polenta. Oh my God, that's amazing. I can taste the wine, I can taste the herbs, I can taste the tomatoes, and then all of the depth with all of the different vegetables. And then the chicken is so tender as we let it cook for so long in the broth. So excited for you guys to try this. It seems difficult, but it's actually pretty easy. So thanks for joining me in my kitchen tonight and joining Brian and I on our date night.